Back Home Media.
At Smith Auto and Truck Parts, Team PRP, we believe that our commitment to outstanding customer service sets us apart from the rest. We are constantly looking for ways to improve the quality, delivery, and inventory of our products. Our full line of new aftermarket hoods, fenders, bumpers, headlamps, tail lamps, grills, radiators, and AC condensers for your late model car or truck are second to none. You can buy from us with confidence, knowing that our parts have been cleaned, tested, and inspected, and come with our promise that you will be satisfied. With 15,000 units on site and 100,000 parts in our computerized inventory, we have just about anything you need for your late model car or truck. And if we don't have it, we'll find it for you with our free nationwide parts locating service. Visit us at 402 East Burnside Drive in Garden City, Kansas, or give us a call at 620-275-9145. This episode is sponsored by Big Fish Bail Bonds. Big Fish Bail Bonds is your first choice in bondsmen. We are located 3 blocks away from the Sedgwick County Jail in Wichita, Kansas. We accept all major credit cards, and we accept payment plans on big bonds with no collateral in some cases. Find us at bigfishbailbonds.us or give us a call at 316-262-4100. Big Fish Bail Bonds. Big or small, we release them all.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabruggi, up here in Kansas, and joining me down there in Arizona is Derek Relaford. How's it going, Derek?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Weathered a storm this afternoon and just kind of chilling. Other than that,
Storms, huh? I just it's just getting hot here, man. I mean, it's like been floating around 85 and like 95 for the past week. But that's nothing for Phoenix. But I gotta tell you, man, it's not that bad. Like anybody from Phoenix will tell you it's a dry heat and all that stuff, but
yeah,
I really don't mind Phoenix summers. Like, it's not fun, but not that bad either, man. You got a breeze going, you're all right. Double T in the house.
Yeah, it hit about 82, 83 here today, I think. So,
wow.
Yeah, but then it cooled off big time when that storm hit.
See, that's scary though when it goes from one extreme to the other. That's when you get those twisters, buddy. I've seen the movie.
No. There was some tornado warnings like northwest of us there for a little bit. So.
Wow. Yeah, I don't miss that. Kelsey Youngblood in the house. Yeah, I rarely know what day the show is either, Kelsey.
I rarely ever know what day it is, period.
Ellen's here.
Hey, Ellen.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and get into the case. Let's talk a little bit about our buddy Dietrich Foster. Again, $5,000 reward for anybody watching that has information on this case.
Okay, so Dietrich Foster, missing from Independence, Kansas since April 12, 2020. Was 37 when he went missing. He's now 40. He's 5'9", weighs 190 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. He was reported missing on May 12th of 2020. He was last seen around April 12th of 2020. KBI agents and detectives from Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during the investigation into Dietrich's disappearance. At the time of his disappearance, he was 37. He's now 40. He's 5'9", weighs 190 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700. or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And there is a governor's reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the disappearance and suspected murder of Dietrich Foster. So if you have any information regarding his case at all, get it called in. You know, they need to get him found and back home.
Yeah, based on information I've kind of gathered doing some, because there's a lot of people talking about this online and stuff, and I've talked to some of Dietrich's loved ones and stuff, but it seems like there's a reason why the police had you put suspected murder on this flyer. It seems like any of the information that LE or family members have obtained hasn't been good information. It's all been sort of pointing to foul play. So, that's just really crazy. And again, I pointed this out, a couple times already, but Independence, Kansas, based on my research, has around 10,000 people there. That's not a very big town.
No, it's not.
Like, that's not a very big town at all. And I'm thinking that a missing person / suspected homicide in a town of 10,000 people is probably big news. So this is one of those situations where people are probably talking about this all over Independence and surrounding areas, probably not to law enforcement, probably just to each other. And that means two things. One, that you telling what you know about this case to your buddy at a party doesn't help Dietrich's family. So at this point, you're not helping solve a case, you're gossiping, and that's not cool. And then number two, yeah, like at the end of the day, this is a bad situation. This is a bad situation. And people definitely know what's going on. And $5,000 sounds great, and most people would. I mean, I do know you, Ricky. I was going to say my personal financial situation, $5,000 would really improve what's going on in my life.
Oh yeah.
So I wish, honestly, not only for Dietrich's family, I wish I knew what happened to Dietrich, and I would say something. But that's what this is. There's reward money, and again, we have talked about it. This reward money is always issued by a third party, so there really is going to be no connection that you were the one that provided information. But like I said, Dietrich is not a party story, because I've seen so many people, their cases go unsolved, and people just talk about them at parties. Like, it's kind of like I've been true crime podcast. Like, people talk about it because it's shocking. It's like, hey, if you're not going to help solve this case, quit talking about it. You're gossiping.
Yep.
Do the deep thing,
Right.
Baby Blue Eyes, sorry I've been MIA lately. You're good. You're good.
You're good.
Trisha Arnold in the house.
Trisha.
We love it. We love Trisha Arnold in the house. Let's talk about Alexander Perez.
Okay, Alex is missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st of 2020. He was 35 when he went missing. He's now 37. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald, and brown eyes. He'd called a family member on the phone on December 1st and said he'd be coming over to do some laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses, and he hasn't been heard from or seen since that time. He'd been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. It's believed that he may still be in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in the Garden City or surrounding area. At the time of his disappearance, Alex was 35. He's now 37. He's 5'11", 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald, and brown eyes. He has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance, or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500, or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600, or KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can help get Alex located and back to where he needs to be. And again, it's time to help get him found and get him brought home.
Way too long. Zilta from Southeast Hot, Oklahoma.
Southeast Hot, Oklahoma.
They're not kidding. I lived in Oklahoma for a summer. That was almost punishment. It felt like it was so hot and muggy. And then now, okay, this is my thing on Oklahoma. I love it, but I feel like, they have a lot of bad things going for them. First of all, it's hot and muggy in the summer. They have brutal winters. They have tarantulas in like the Norman area, which is just gross. And then they have crazy tornadoes every season. And now within the last 10 years, they have earthquakes. So it's like Oklahoma has so many scary things. I love Oklahoma, but they're that's a lot. That's a lot to take in. That's a lot of risk, or a lot of risk
Yeah.
factors to visit there. But I'll definitely be going there soon.
Yeah, my ex mother-in-law, she lives in Oklahoma City, and they had a tornado hit down there one time, and she was talking to my ex-wife on the phone, and she looked out her kitchen window. She said, "Oh my God, there it is!" And about that time, the phone went dead.
It's not even. It's like I've had friends in Oklahoma City for 20 years.
Yeah,
Every year I get nervous because I'm just like you see on like the news, or back when storm chasers used to post their live footage for free, you would just see them like in Oklahoma City
yeah.
every day. Like, yep, big
She was
one.
okay. She was okay. Just the phone went dead, but she was all right.
Yeah, that's good. That's
I
good.
couldn't imagine looking at your kitchen window and there it is.
Yeah. Well, I hope it doesn't happen in Phoenix because there's no
Oh
basement
man.
in a 30-mile radius here. Let's talk about Dana
Yeah.
Jane Bruce.
Hey, Dana's missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. She was 23 when she went missing. She's now 37. She's 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was last seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model Ford F-150, red in color. She left with that man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man she was with that night. He did travel to Atlanta after her disappearance. Police did question him there about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush, toothbrush. She doesn't have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. At the time of her disappearance, she was 23. She'd now be 37. She's 5'2" and weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. Dana was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel in silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. Dana has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. Dana has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced one time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or their toll-free number 866-362-6422. And again, it's time to get her found and get her brought home. So if anybody has anything that could get the investigators in the right direction to find her and get her brought home, get it called in immediately.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here doing a little bit of research here. So Sedalia has got about 21,000 population. That's like, most recently 2010. Well, not most recently, 2010 census, but I'm assuming somewhere around floating around that area when she went missing. One thing that I just saw on the Wikipedia page for Sedalia, Missouri, is that Sedalia is 30 miles from the Missouri River. For anybody that is watching or listening to the podcast, I apologize for not knowing this, but does anybody know if when they say Missouri River 30 miles from Sedalia, is that like a moving body of water? Because where I'm from, Elkhart, Kansas, like 5 miles north of my hometown, there's the Arkansas River, and that's been sand since I've been a kid. So I guess my question is, the Missouri River by Sedalia, is that a moving body of water? How big is it? And would that potentially be an area to look?
Right. My understanding, it's a pretty big river.
It rages. See? So just to be, devil's advocate here, if somebody did something to Dana and put her in that Missouri River in 2008 and it rages, who knows where she'd be by now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's, and just it's the same thing with a lot of these cases, and that's something that I learned to check out. And I'm really shocked it took me this long to look up this, but that's one of the things I always look at, especially whenever you tell me about a case where the person's missing and the car. I just look up to see how close water is.
Yeah.
Alan's agreeing that it's a raging river. We got Rodney Cox in the house.
Hey, Rodney.
That's my buddy. Yeah, 30 miles from a raging river, and she hasn't been seen in a long time. That's, I don't know. Possibility for sure. Let's talk about Kenny Wrightcheck, and I did fix his flyer finally because Kenny deserves the
Hey,
best.
I see that. Yeah, Kenny's missing from here in Salina, Kansas since November 4th, 2019. Was 69 when he went missing. He's now 72. He is 5'9", 175 pounds, gray hair and blue eyes. He does sometimes use the last name Brown instead of his given name of Wrightcheck. Does suffer from diminished mental health capabilities, and he is on disability. He has not tried to access his money since he was last seen. He may have family in northwest Kansas, possibly around Colby. He was last seen at the Gospel Mission in Salina. He had left there and hasn't been seen or heard from since then. He does not have a cell phone, a vehicle, or any identification. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 69. He's now 72. He's 5'9", weighs about 175 pounds, has gray hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Kenny's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department. It's 785-826-7210. Or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Or you can text SA TIPS to crimes, which is 274-637. Or visit pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip. Or call KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't get Kenny located and back to where he needs to be. He's missed by a lot of people in this town and want to see him found and brought home. So let's see if we can make that happen.
Rick, can you go into details about how he was displaced that day?
Yeah, my understanding was that he wasn't alone apparently, was evicted from his apartment, which is right over across the street from the police department on the north side. And they have since turned that area where he lived into a private parking lot for the police department. But he was taken from there to the Gospel Mission and dropped off there, and he had been staying there. And from what I was hearing, he was having issues with somebody else that was staying there. So he decided to leave, and that was the last anybody seen or heard from him.
Right. And so I kind of want to say this real quick. And before I say it, this isn't me being accusatory towards, it happens to be the PD who bought that land, but this happens all the time. It's not always the police department buying land. But this happens every day, where people who don't have a whole lot are physically misplaced so more affluent people can utilize their land. And if you paid attention in school, that's called gentrification. And again, I'm not being accusatory. That happens every day. It's just part of life. People with more money will find a place where people are living, maybe not the best life, but they're happy and they're alive, and they'll be displaced so something can go up that can be more useful to people with money. That being said, in gentrification, you take somebody like Kenny, who spent years hanging out, doing his own thing, but he always ended up at his house when he needed to rest. He had a place to go.
Right.
And somebody in Kenny's mental capacity, a simple act of gentrification of saying, hey, you can't live here anymore, and then dropping him off at, anywhere, that's a lot to imagine. Kenny has diminished mental health capabilities. I know that I'm probably a bad example because I have some mental health issues, but you take somebody who's just a normal person, doesn't have any mental health issues, and you come tell them, hey, grab your belongings, you don't live here anymore, we're going to take you to a shelter. Anybody taking that information would be a big thing in your life, especially for Kenny, who was special needs. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what happens. Like, gentrification happened and Kenny's gone. And again, nobody did anything maliciously. I don't know. Kenny might have, something might have happened. I'm saying, like, as far as him being displaced, it's not like malicious. It's just part of life. But because of that, Kenny's gone. That's really sad.
Yeah, it is sad. There are several places around town where they have like demolished blocks of houses. So yeah, it's not the only block. So
yeah. So, I mean, it's just one thing to think about whenever you hear about, like, anytime you hear somebody say, hey, let's go to this part of town, they redid it. There's a lot of people in Kenny's shoes that because they redid it, don't have a place to stay anymore.
Yeah.
My niece has been missing from Garden City, Kansas. She was 15 since 1996. Connie, we cover Rachel's case all the time. Real quick, Connie, there's going to be a benefit show in Garden City on July 1st, and we're going to be showcasing, think of it as an art show, but all of the art pieces are going to be Ricky's flyers. And we are definitely going to be talking about Rachel Pratt, July 1st, Hidden Trail Brewery. Family Crisis Center is going to be a part of the event. They're going to have a booth up. They're going to have resources available. So,
Right.
yes. Yeah, we cover Rachel quite a bit, but yeah, thank you so much for showing up. Let's see here. Double T says maybe have been eminent domain. The city used to buy a lot for people. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like it's not. Nobody's an evil person because of what happened, but at the end of the day, because of something that we do as humans, Kenny got misplaced, and that's pretty bad, you know. But again, it's just. I'm not demonizing anybody. It's just part of, being people. It happens. Double T, they demolished a whole block to build Cottonwood Elementary.
That's true. They did.
Seems his payers would have known and gave him money for a new place. The whole thing is just bad.
Yeah.
Trisha Arnold chiming in and saying so.
We've heard some not so nice things about his payees as far as, not making sure that he had pocket money when he was out and about and things like that. That's why he, rode his bicycle around. He would pick up scrap metal from here and there, wherever he would find it, take it over to Slime Iron Metal, which is now all metal recycling, and he would cash it in there for pocket money because the payees just apparently weren't making sure he had money.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know if they were taking advantage of him or what. I really don't know. I've never heard anything along those lines, but wouldn't be a first.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be a first.
And I do know one of his payees has since passed on.
Really? Oh yeah. We've mentioned that before.
Yeah.
So one of the payees is gone, but yeah, we still don't know. We don't know if checks are still being cashed and money's being spent. We don't know who to contact to even find that out. But it's definitely worth, because again, I'm not trying to. I'm not a witch hunter. I don't know what's going on. But all I'm saying is, I hope that money that was legally allotted to be Kenny Wright checks isn't being. I hope his accounts aren't being dwindled, especially since we don't know where he is. You know what I mean? Like, I just hope that. But again, we don't know if that's happening. But it does. We have heard things about, Kenny not having the easiest of times getting his money. So definitely something to think about. Let's check these comments real quick. I appreciate you guys trying to make sense. Sad story. Those less fortunate should always be treated with respect and dignity.
Definitely.
I don't want to kick anybody out of their house, but again, I don't have a bunch of money and need a parking lot built. But I want to shout out here for Connie. We are going to go ahead and excuse me, Connie, if this flyer is needs any corrections as far as ages and go, but I pulled this from an email. But Ricky, let's go ahead and cover Rachel.
Okay. Rachel Geraldine Pratt, missing from Garden City since January 16th, 1995. She was 15 when she was missing. I'm not sure she is currently going to be 43 or not. I'm not sure if this looks like the most recent flyer. So she was 5'7", 125 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. She was last seen watching a movie inside her family's residence in Garden City at approximately 1 a.m. on January 16th, 1995. She disappeared under suspicious circumstances and has never been heard from again. Rachel left all of her clothing and personal belongings at her home except for her coat. 5 days after her disappearance, some girls claimed to have seen her talking on a payphone with her 18-year-old boyfriend. They say she left the phone with her boyfriend after asking the girls for a ride. They went into Dylan's grocery store. The sighting has not been confirmed, and her boyfriend denies having been with her after she vanished. Rachel was supposed to be a witness against her boyfriend, who is being prosecuted for unlawful sexual relations with her. Because Rachel disappeared before she could testify, the charges were dropped. They started dating when Rachel was a 14-year-old high school freshman and her boyfriend a senior. He was her first boyfriend. Rachel's mother found out that she was pregnant after Rachel was arrested for attempting to shoplift a home pregnancy test from Walmart. She gave her statement to police at that time. There is no evidence to indicate that Rachel has given birth. There's also no record of her receiving a driver's license, a copy of her birth certificate, or a social security card. She may have remained in the Garden City area after her disappearance. There have been no sightings of her in many years, but authorities remain hopeful that she is still alive. Rachel has 7 siblings. Her mother still lives with the same address and has kept the same phone number. If anybody has any information regarding Rachel's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Garden City Police Department at 620-276-1300 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see, there's another one. Rachel needs to be found and brought home to her loved ones. So if anybody has any information that would make that happen, get it called in as soon as you can, so we can get her found and back home.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's like you hear 14 and senior, and I feel like especially in 2023, you're going to have people that are going to demonize that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I was in high school and a few years after this, and it wasn't, freshman girls dated seniors all the time. You know what I mean? So you read these flyers and it kind of makes you be like, oh, that's a huge thing. But that was kind of the norm back then. One thing that really bums me out is if she was pregnant, the pregnancy thing. It's I think that's again a part of the times that, I have friends, I'm 40, but I have friends that, female friends that got pregnant in high school, and, again, it's not polite to talk about not polite things, but it's true. They would go visit grandma for a few weeks and they would come back and they would obviously have an abortion to protect the family's image. So back then the thought of, somebody having a kid was almost they were chastised for it. So to me, I feel like if Rachel disappeared that day, I feel bad that anybody made her feel bad for just being herself, That being said, it obviously looks sketchy, knowing that she was sexually involved with a by the law adult, and she was 15, and there was pending, charges on the way. So that doesn't make him look good. But at the same time, until there's any concrete evidence that there was any foul play on his part, he say he had nothing to do with it. He has had a shadow cast on him since January 16th, 1995. He has been tried by the jury of the public, I'm sure. And then another thing that I wanted to point out is, and this is no disrespect to any of the other cases we cover, but Rachel wasn't, she wasn't just somebody, she was her father, the father figure in her life was a judge, this is something that you would think that would be solved by now, considering that, her family has ties to the legal system in Garden City. So it just really blows your mind to know that, if Rachel's still out there somewhere, she's, 43 to 44 years old. We're not 100% sure, but I'm thinking 43. That's crazy that this one slipped through the cracks. You know what I mean? Considering you just feel when I used to work in the hospital, one of the nurses I worked with, they brought in an accident victim, and it was her husband, and he was dead, but the doctors tried to save him for 20 minutes, and I was the thing I kind of overheard, but somebody asked him why, he was gone. Why did you try to save him? And he was like, it's one of ours, it's our nurse's husband. It's one of ours. So you'd think with that mentality, Rachel would be one of theirs as far as the police force, local government. But it is just really crazy that this case has gone unsolved for this long.
Right. And I did verify she would be 44.
Okay. So that's something we need to operate.
Yeah. I think I might have updated that already on another flyer.
Yeah, really sad.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, though, cold cases get solved every day.
Yeah.
So just got to keep having faith, keep asking questions, and keep reminding the public that she was a person and we haven't seen her for a long time.
Yep. She needs to be found and brought home.
Yeah. Speaking of Garden City, let's talk about Juan.
Okay, this is Juan. Carmen Perez, missing from Garden City, Kansas since January 5th, 2020. I don't know, it's about 2020. He was 52 when he went missing. He's now 55. He's 5'4", 160 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen at 4101 East US Highway 50, lot 254 in Garden City. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 52. He's now 55. He's 5'4", weighs 160 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. He's last known to be wearing a black jacket, blue jeans, and black shoes. If you have any information regarding Juan's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Garden City, Kansas Police Department, 620-276-1300, or KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can't get Juan located and back to where he needs to be.
For sure, Connie. I won't say much on air, but if you reach out to me, you can just go to backhomemedia.com and hit the contact button. I did talk to a retired police officer about Rachel's case. And again, not going to go into it on air, but I basically ran every theory I ever heard through the person's ears. And I can share with you via private chat what they told me. But again, they did not tell me where she was. But they did tell me some pretty interesting things. Connie Pratt Sanders, yeah. Well, Juan, that's 2 years. No, that's 3 years ago. I never know what year it is.
Actually, 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago. That address where he was last seen, that reminds me of pizza, because I used to deliver pizzas a lot in Garden City, and that there is the trailer park heading towards Dodge City, and a lot of people in a tiny area, but I would deliver there a lot. Nice people, but yeah, like I could see somebody going missing. That's just so many people, so many houses, so many cars, definitely a almost like a city there in Garden City. A lot of people there. Hopefully somebody can find him. Let's talk about Charles.
Okay, this is a Great Bend, Kansas case. Charles Everett McHenry III, missing from Great Bend since May 6, 2016. He was 27 when he went missing. He's now 34. 6'2", 180 pounds, black hair, black eyes. Charles was last known to be driving an unknown make two-door black car away from a house in the 500 block of Northwest 20 Avenue between Hoisington and Great Bend. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 27. He's now 34. He is 6'2", 180 pounds, black hair and black eyes. He's last known to be wearing a black T-shirt and denim shorts. He has a tattoo on his left arm. One is of the cross, and it says Tyler on his upper arm, and an eagle with a flag on the lower arm, and pictured right there. You can see him there. His eyebrow and left ear are pierced. He has a large scar near his left knee, a large scar on his right arm from the elbow to the wrist, scar on his right knee, a scar on his forehead, scars on both sides of his ribs, a scar on the bottom of his left foot, and a dip in his left bicep. He has a plate in his right arm from the elbow to the wrist, and he has 2 screws in his left knee. If you have any information regarding Charles' disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Great Bend, Kansas Police Department at 620-793-4120, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can't get Charles located and back to where he needs to be.
I'm kind of curious why all the hardware, like
I don't know. It sounds like
could
it
be
might have
maybe
been a bad accident or something.
That's what I was thinking. Like it's maybe an accident, either a vehicle or work related, or maybe even maybe he was an athlete, in high school.
That could be.
Yeah, I know some people that had some major surgeries at a young age because of sports,
Right.
But yeah, those are pretty identifiable things, pieces of metal.
Yeah, my first thought was some kind of an accident, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing too. But tattoos. He's a pretty distinguishable guy as far if he has like a you know, like the shirt he's wearing on the top right of the flyer, you know, like he's a pretty distinguishable guy. But again, 2016 was a long time ago, my friend.
Yeah.
It's tragic. Well, if anybody has any information on Charles Everett McHenry, please call the number on the screen.
Most definitely.
Been way too long.
Yep. It's another one needs to be found and brought home.
How can I personally talk to someone on here? I'll put it on the screen real quick.
Okay.
All right. Charles Everett McHenry. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Dalton.
Okay. Dalton Miller is missing from Wichita, Kansas since May 1st of this year. He's 17. He is 6'2", 175 pounds, brown hair and blue eyes. And unfortunately, that's the only photo I've been able to get of him. If you have any information regarding Dalton's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Dalton located and back to where he needs to be.
Only photo available. What we have a lot. We have several flyers where we only have one photo. What made you put that on there, or was that on the actual picture?
Yep, I put that on the actual photo. So I couldn't find it. I mean, the only other ones I found were when he was a lot younger.
It's a good photo as far as you can definitely get a good facial structure and kind of see who he is, but he does, unless it's like game day, I doubt he looks like that either.
I mean, it is. It actually is a photo of him in his football uniform and everything. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He looks ready to go, man. Yeah. He looks like he's playing ball, man.
I mean, if you see the full picture, he's like doing the double bicep thing going on, muscle flex.
Maybe they want it. Well, Dalton, got to be at school to play ball. So go to school.
Yeah.
Go home. Let's talk about Cameron.
Well, I have actually a sad update for him. Just a little bit ago, I noticed I had a message on my phone and I checked it and did a little research. And it turns out he had just been located deceased today out in the middle of a field, quite a distance from his vehicle. They don't suspect foul play at this point. But we'll have to update him to located deceased after the show. But sadly, he was found deceased, unfortunately. So thoughts and prayers are out to his family and friends.
Sheesh.
There's too many of those this year.
A lot.
Too many.
I think the first year we did this show, we maybe had like 6.
For the whole year.
Lot. Yeah, for the whole year. We've had like 10 in the last 2 months.
I know. It's crazy. What's going on? But man.
And I don't want to get too far off on a tangent here, but you got me looking into the Sywick case. Yeah, lots of seems like there's a lot of bodies in water in Kansas City, you know.
Yeah.
Seems like that's happening quite a bit. And those, you know, when we were covering the Sywick, you know, when he was a missing person and therefore he was on our page,
right?
You know, he was. Let's just say this: if you go to YouTube and look for Justin Sywick, there's a couple people covering it. I wish I remembered his name, but there's a gentleman who's covering it, and the other girl that I saw covering it, she mentions the other YouTuber covering it, and she even says, I think her quote was, "He does a great job. He goes deeper than I'm comfortable with going, but he does a great job." So obviously I went and watched his video, and yeah, he's kind of laying everything out there as far as all the theories that are floating around about what happened to Justin. And again, you kind of have to take all that stuff with a grain of salt. This is just a YouTuber. But definitely, I'll have to look up his name, but definitely check out. Just go to YouTube and look for Justin Sywick, and there's several videos, deep dive videos.
Yeah, the one video I sent you was the Whodunit sisters.
Okay, see, I didn't I actually just went to YouTube and searched in
Okay.
his name, and there are several podcasters covering that with
Yeah.
way more viewers than we have. Let's talk about Yolanda. Like that, I saw one video. I had like 70,000 views talking about
Jeez.
Justin. I was like, that is awesome, man.
Wow. Yep, another Garden City case. Yolanda Hernandez, missing from Garden City since September 10th, 1992. Was 24 when she's missing. She's now 55. She's 5'3", 135 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. On June 29, 2001, a jawbone was found by a citizen around the Arkansas River near a bridge on Pierceville, Kansas. FBI tests were concluded in December 2003 to reveal the jawbone was Yolanda's. Her husband, Manuel Hernandez, was charged with her murder in 2002, but Finney County District Judge Thomas Richardson didn't find probable cause to bind him over for arraignment. Manuel was deported to El Salvador after the murder charge was dismissed because of prior convictions. Manuel cannot be extradited back to the U.S. to be charged with any crimes unless and until new evidence can be found in Yolanda's case. Since human remains were found, Finney County Sheriff's deputies have searched the banks of the Arkansas River for additional remains, but none have been found. Garden City Police Captain Mike Utz said if people want find what they believe to be human remains, they should leave the remains where they are and contact law enforcement immediately. If you have any information regarding Yolanda's disappearance, please call Crime Stoppers at 620-275-7807 or the Garden City Police Department at 620-276-1300 or the Finney County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-272-3700 or KBI at 1-800-572-7463. And I mean, it sounds like they pretty much concluded that she was definitely murdered, but they're still looking for the remainder of her remains. So I'm guessing that's why they're keeping the missing persons case open, because she is still actively listed as missing on KBI as well. So
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of is they're wanting to find the rest of her remains.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, you don't see somebody going very far without a jawbone, but
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, yeah, like, I'm sure they can't even tell the cause of death with only the jawbone,
Right.
So yeah, I think that they have to, and it's also just the right thing to do. She's still missing. They found a bone, but that's not her. Like that,
Right.
she still needs to be laid to rest. As whole as that means, and
Yeah.
it's just really tragic that the guy that did it. He's just, who knows what he's done since then. This was 1992. If he's still
Right.
alive, who knows if he's harmed any other human beings. So
Right.
just really tragic. Really pretty lady. 24
Yeah.
years old, world in front of her. Ended up on our show. Not a good thing.
Right.
Called the number knowing. Oh, we don't have a phone line on this show. I'm just saying, if you go to thebackhomemedia.com, you can send me an email and I can get it. I can get
What
it.
number she called?
I don't know.
Hey, Kelly.
Kelly is here. Nobody gets the notifications, Kelly. Facebook doesn't like us. You might mention that the body was found here as a suspicious death. Salina Police Department is seeking info from the public.
Yeah, let me hang on a second here.
Pull it up.
We can touch that real quick here. Let me jump into my email because I have the press release there. Thanks to Double T.
Double T.
Okay, I make it bigger so I can see it here. It's on May 8th, 2023 at 10:30 a.m. So this was yesterday. Salina Police Dispatch received a call from a citizen who found a body in the 1900 block of North 5th Street in Salina. Officers responded and found a deceased person with it was apparent the individual had been there for several days. The individual has not been identified. The unattended death is being investigated as suspicious, and at this time, the cause of death is undetermined. Salina Police Department is asking the public for any information they may have regarding the case. If anybody has any information relative to this case, call Crime Stoppers at 825. They have it as 825 tips. You can also make an online tip at p3tips.com/tipform.aspx ? ID = 950 pound. You may receive a cash reward up to $1,000. Tipsters may also contact the police department or Detective Caswell at 785-826-7210, or you can email him at aaron.carswell@salina.org and reference case number 2023-13128. So, yeah. And bodies are being found everywhere. It was in a residence up on, let me pull that up again real fast here. On the 1900 block of North 5th Street is where they found it. And as I said, as of right now, there's no identification or cause of death being released right yet. And the only thing they've said is it's evident that the body had been there for several days.
Connie's giving a little bit of encouragement here. Love you, Rachel. We will find you, Aunt Connie.
Yes, and hopefully continuing to cover her will help bring that along a lot quicker, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about Blanca.
Okay, this is Blanca Elizabeth Chopcock. What an interesting name. Missing from Garden City, Kansas on September 22nd, 2022. She was 16 when she was missing. She's now 17. She's 5'4", 135 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. She has not had contact with anybody since she went missing. And she was 16 when she went missing. She's now 17. She's 5'4", 135 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She has a dime-sized birthmark on her upper right shoulder and a vaccination scar on her right bicep. If you have any information regarding Blanca's disappearance, or you know her whereabouts, please call the Garden City, Kansas Police Department at 620-276-1300, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, or your local law enforcement agency. Initially, she was missing with a cousin of hers, but her cousin has since been found. But she is still, Blanca's still out there missing somewhere.
Yeah. Garden City.
So see what we can do to help get her found and back home.
Yeah. Was she part of the three girls?
No.
Okay, no. Okay.
Nope.
What's the status on the three girls? Are they all found?
2 of them had been found. One of the other 2 is missing again, and the third one still hasn't been found. So
wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Was Blanca's cousin found dead or alive?
She was found alive.
Good.
Yeah, she was found safe.
Good. Marlene says, it's so sad that there are so many people that are missing for so long that have no one that cares enough to look for them. Sometimes it feels like that.
Yeah.
If you notice here at the top of the screen, we changed this weekly. These numbers could be inaccurate, but as of 30 minutes before the broadcast, 199 juveniles missing, wow. 333 adults. But this isn't a good thing. All of it's terrible, but I didn't have to change the adults. It's been 333 since our last show. It might have been up and down, but it was 333 when I checked it this time.
Wow.
Way too many. Over 500, not good.
That's why we're here, though. I mean, we do care enough to try to help get these folks found, and that's why we're here, doing the show week after week. That's why I'm here day after day after day, making flyers, updating flyers, keeping them out there so people know.
Yeah. And if you notice up there's over 500 people currently missing from our state, and we're covering like 14 flyers tonight.
Yeah.
So there's enough work to do this show 7 days a week.
Oh, yeah.
We can't afford to, but there's no shortage of this going on. There's so many cases that we're not, again, I said it 1,000 times, we're barely scratching the surface when it comes to people missing in Kansas. Hope everyone gets found soon, Kelly Uphoff says.
As of right now, I'm looking at KBI right now. As of right now, the juveniles went down 1 and the adults went up 1. So
See?
198 on the juveniles and 334 on the adults.
We should make that like a thing we do each week. I'll always do the background 30 minutes before broadcast,
Right.
and then we'll wait until the end of the show before you pray, and you can look and we can see if it got better or worse, man. Hopefully it gets
Sure.
better by the end of the broadcast.
Sure.
Perez, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Perez, if you didn't watch, if Kelly didn't watch, if Rebecca wasn't here, if Marlene wasn't, it would just be two guys that are out of touch and not hip talking to each other on a computer. So you being here is the real treat. Trust me. Diana says, so sad that you're not even scratching this shirt. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We could do this show 7 days a week.
Oh, yeah,
we still
absolutely.
couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
I would do it 7 days a week again if I could afford it. But
my big thing is I would like to see KBI get more photos on the missing persons website because there's such a huge lack of photos on there. It's really disheartening.
On the what?
On the KBI missing persons list, they lack a lot of photos of these missing people, and I would really like to see that, rectified somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, like with Yolanda Hernandez that we covered a little bit ago, there's no pictures on there of her. but
you found 3 in a day.
I had a family member actually get a hold of me. That's how I got them. So I'm thinking if I can get them, surely law enforcement can get them. I don't know. I'm not sure what all goes on that end of it. So I don't know.
Scarlett will be 2 on Thursday.
Cool.
Kelly, I sent Scarlett a present. I don't know if you got it or not, but I sent Scarlett a present. A little something from Back Home Media. No big deal. Just a little something.
Well, happy birthday a few days. I was going to say real quick, happy birthday a few days early because we don't do a show Thursday. So happy birthday a few days early.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Alex Perez's sister. Okay.
Kelly, go ahead and get ready for the Terrible Twos. That's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
I say that, but I have if I'm honest, I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, and still terrible. They're just little rotten kids turning my hair gray.
Yeah,
I did get it. I sent you. Oh, awesome, cool. I wanted to make sure you got it. Yeah, happy birthday, Scarlett. That's awesome.
Yep,
so, you sure that's Alexander Perez's sister?
That's right there.
Okay,
right there, Alex's sister from Garden City.
We are going to be. There's going to be an event in Garden City on July 1st at Hidden Trail Brewery, and it's essentially an art show. But all of the art pieces are going to be Ricky's flyers, and we are definitely going to be showcasing Alexander's flyer along with everybody else. We're trying to get every missing person in Finney County, every unsolved homicide. And Ricky, by the way, the 18 people that are watching, please get off your hinds and type in 555 as encouragement to Ricky. He started out this week with like 10 flyers of missing people from Garden City. 2 of them had pictures, 8 of them did not, and right now we are only lacking 2 people's pictures. So 555 in the comments. Ricky, thank you so much.
Yeah,
you did that while working a full-time job, while raising your kid.
Yeah.
While me giving you crap all the time. So 555 for Ricky. We are close. And again, anybody watching, we are beaming to the Garden City podcast page. If there's any Garden City cases that we have yet to cover or you haven't seen anywhere, please contact us by going to kmupod.com and just letting us know, hey, you need to make sure you cover this case. And we are doing Finney County, so it'll be Garden City and surrounding areas. But yeah, that's what's going on there. We got a lot of 555s, guys. 555s coming in. Rodney's giving you some praise. Kelly's giving you praise.
Sweet.
Rebecca. Wynette, awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for we need Ricky working, so he needs the 555s to keep going.
And the 2 that I do not have photos for is Alwil Abdi Jama.
Okay.
41, missing since January 1st, 2015.
Wow.
Then Miguel Alonso, 15 years old, missing since March 23rd of this year, or excuse me, March 26th of this year.
Okay.
So those are the
fresher
two
one.
that I don't have. The rest of Finney County I've got covered. So
Wow. Finally, Double T gives you the thanks. Look at him, Ricky. He's just waiting to the last minute. No, I'm just kidding. He's probably digging through like Kansas websites looking for information on these cases. Baby Blue Eyes giving you some praise. Chris
thank you
Steiner
guys. I
giving you some
appreciate it.
love. Marlene love. Trisha love. Yeah, I appreciate it too, man. This event
I
wouldn't happen
appreciate it.
without you and your flyers, and I want to show everybody I know in Garden City all the hard work you do on their behalf. Let's talk. Oh no, I think I skipped them. Did we do Amaya yet?
Not yet.
I don't think so. Okay, yeah, go ahead with Amaya.
Amaya Arredondo, missing from Topeka, Kansas. I hope I said that right. Arredondo. That's a cool name. Since November 3rd, 2022. She's 14 when she went missing. She's now 15. She's 5'2", 120 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. It's believed that she may be and still be in Topeka, or she may be trying to get to Florida. In the time of her disappearance, she was 14. She's now 15. She's 5'2", 120 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Amaya's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call Topeka, Kansas Police Department. It's 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or KBI is 785-296-4017. And see if we can't get Amaya located and back to where she needs to be. I noticed one of her aunts commented on her flyer today when I reposted this update, and Annette Lawless responded to her comment asking if she had any other photos we could add to this, and said she was sure that we would like to add some new stuff to our flyers too, and it's definitely so. See if we can get some more photos of Amaya to add to this if she's not found first, and hopefully she'll be found first.
Yeah. Really cool name, Amaya.
Yeah. Been an eventful day, actually. Today, Kansas Missing and Unsolved actually just surpassed 80,000 followers on this page. So I'm really happy with that. I'm really excited about that. As I've said many times, when I first started this thing, I'd be lucky if 500 people liked this page or even followed this page. But here we are 11 years later and 80,000 followers later. So
80K.
I'm blown away by that.
You know what I'm blown away by? Since I'm honest. The fact that you have, I said, since I'm honest, you know what I'm blown away by?
Oh.
The fact that you have 80,000 followers on this very needed page.
Right.
And Facebook does not tell those 80,000 people what you're doing. Right. That's what's astonishing to me.
Yeah. Got to overcome Facebook shenanigans somehow.
I don't get it, man. Like other platforms for streamers and other platforms for streamers and stuff, they try really hard to make it to where the people doing the stream have the best potential to have an audience in front of them. But Facebook doesn't do that. Facebook will actually, like, I have friends that I like to watch their shows, but I don't see them. Facebook does not tell me that they're live. Wow. So that's one thing that Facebook does bother me with is they don't tell people. They're just like, nobody cares. But I mean, again, like I understand if it was like, if this podcast was about movies or music, but I mean, we're talking about missing people from our state, and there's 80,000 people that care enough to follow this page. I wish Facebook would show them this show. Or at least, it's just weird.
I don't get it.
See, I knew Terry was digging through archives.
Derek knows me so well.
80,000. Congratulations for the 80K.
Thank you, Kelly. I don't know what that was.
I know.
Thank you, Annette.
Get with the exactly. Exactly.
Get with the program's up.
Tom from MySpace would never do us dirty like that.
Yeah.
He would let us go out to all 80,000 people. Let's talk about Alicia. Alicia,
I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but I'm going to say it's Tonsavon.
Okay.
Tonsavon. I hope that's right. Another Garden City missing since January 10th of this year. She's 17. She's 5'3", 100 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. She was reported as a runaway after leaving the Southwest Regional Juvenile Detention Center without permission. And she's 17. She's 5'3", 100 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. She was last seen wearing the black hoodie with the character lettering as seen in the photograph up there. If you have any information regarding Alicia's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Garden City, Kansas Police Department at 620-276-1300 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get her located and back to where she needs to be. And I think I'm going to add a couple more photos to her flyer because I noticed today that Nick Mick has a couple photos of her on there that I don't have. So I'm going to grab those and add those.
Nice.
Yeah. I was going to do that earlier today and I've been so busy today.
I can't believe it's May.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to sort out another missing persons case down Wichita Way right now. And when I was getting ready for the show, I hopped in the shower and my phone rings and there's a deputy with the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Department calling me back. So I'm hanging half out of the shower, trying to talk on the phone, trying to get this thing straightened out. And fun.
Yeah. We live for it.
Oh, yeah.
We live for it. I think I put Juan in here twice is what I did. Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, let's talk about Adrian. I might be missing a flyer, though, with me noticing that mistake.
Okay. Well, this one here is Adrian Franklin. It's one of the card cases. Wichita, December 18, 2008. Adrian Franklin was at home in Wichita, Kansas when a friend of Adrian's answered a knock at the door. Someone fired multiple shots into the house at Adrian. He died as a result of the gunshot wounds. If anybody has any information regarding Adrian's death, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463 and see if we can't get some justice for Adrian and his family. This one's been coming up on 15 years ago that happened. Wow.
That's what's crazy. You ever heard that Smashing Pumpkins song, 1979?
No. I can't say that I have, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, it's a really cool song, but it came out when I was in high school, like in the 90s. And to me, it always seemed like when he would sing about 1979, it seemed like a billion years ago. But I saw somebody say the other day that if that song came out today, it would be called like 2007.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like basically a long-winded story to say that 2008 was a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
I was married to a different person living in a different state. And like things have changed. That's a long time ago. That is so awful for, Adrian's family to be going this long without knowing, hey, who did this,
Right.
And I apologize. The flyer is kind of cut over on the sides. We made this one on the fly last minute. He sent me these.
Yeah.
And I forgot to double check. I only show one more flyer. Am I missing one?
Let me look here. By my count, 2.
Okay. Well, I have Cassandra here. Who are we missing? And I'll find it.
Lucia Hernandez.
Gotcha. I'll find it.
This is another cold case from last week that I forgot to pull for last week's show. So we're going to cover it tonight. This is Cassandra Jones. This is December 16th, 1998. And let's see here. Cassandra Jones was last seen alive at home on December 13th, 1998. On December 16th, 1998, Cassandra Jones's vehicle, a green Pontiac Grand Am, was found at 1013 North Estelle. On March 31st, 1999, the body of Cassandra Jones was located in a field at 8200 East 77th Street, North in Sedgwick County. If anybody has any information regarding Cassandra's death, please call the Sedgwick County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 316-263-6011 or Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111 or KBI at 1-800-572-7463. Excuse me, I'm going to do that again. 1-800-572-7463. And see if we can get some justice for Cassandra and her family. That's crazy. 1998. That's been a long time. Wow. I was kind of confused by why I did 2 dates at the top until I got into the flyer. I was like, oh, that's why. But yeah, let's see if we can get some justice for Cassandra and her family, because it's been way too long.
Yeah. Again, even longer than 2008.
Coming up on 25 years.
Yeah. So these cold case cards that we're covering, we started doing this project in what, January?
Yeah. Yep,
I don't know if
January.
I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it. I've never asked you. Maybe you could just say we'll talk about it later. But do you know if they're already working on like a new deck for next year? Or
I have not heard. That's something I have not heard yet. I'd be interested to find that out myself. Hopefully they do.
You would think that with it being May, they would have to start working on something like that close-ish to now, like to get it done.
And hopefully we'll be asked to be involved in it again.
Yeah, for real. And it's just a great program. Hopefully they can keep going with it. And it's a great program.
Yeah.
Last case of the night. And we only had 5 located safes. So I told Brandon to hold off until Thursday. Yeah. We'll have a big one Thursday. But let's talk about Lucia Hernandez, the final Garden City cases.
She was actually the third of the 3 that went missing together. Missing since June 29th of 2022. She was 16 when she went missing. She's now 17. She's 5'8", 180 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. She was last seen at the Juvenile Detention Center in the 500 block of West Santa Fe Street in Garden City. She was last seen getting into a gray or silver 4-door passenger car and left the detention center property, as we mentioned, with 2 other girls, but the other 2 have since been found, but one's missing again. See if I can get her on the show for next week. The time of her disappearance, Lucia was 16. She's now 17, 5 foot tall, weighs 180 pounds, has dark brown, black hair, and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Lucia's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Garden City, Kansas Police Department at 620-276-1300 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get her located and back to where she needs to be. It's coming up on a year next month, so we need to get her found.
Wow, that's a year ago, huh?
Yep, almost.
Diana, you missed it. Ricky did a backflip 20 minutes ago. Horrible night to miss the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Why is Facebook not getting these notifications out?
Because they're mean.
Yeah, I'm not sure somebody we could get a hold of and say, hey, fix it.
Siri, what's Mark Zuckerberg's phone number?
Fix it and quit playing the if it's not broke, don't fix it game.
Facebook would be great if it worked. It would be amazing.
Remember, Facebook, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. KMUpod.com. Check it out. You can suggest cases there. You can look for resources that we have to offer. If you feel compelled to support this show financially, you can go to patreon.com/KMUpod, and there you can set up a monthly contribution that 100% goes to Ricky Chabruggi, and that is just to help him with what he has going on as far as keeping that Facebook page going. Do not get it twisted. I do not make flyers. I do not update that page. I do not read the messages. That is Ricky's page. If you would like to help me out, you can go to backhomemedia.com, check out the array of podcasts that my company produces, and simply click play on a couple that look good to you. And that'll help me out tremendously. Right. But Ricky's going to do what Ricky does at the end of the show. We're going to get out of here. I got to go to the store, but great show tonight. Wish we had more people here, but it sounds like Facebook's not playing ball.
Yeah, sounds that way. Now, I mentioned earlier just a minute ago about the deputies that I was talking to on the phone while I was in the shower, but I was telling them, they was getting ready for a podcast that I do and stuff. And they asked me the name of the podcast, and I told them it's KMU Pod, and the show's at 9:00 tonight. So I don't know if the deputies had a chance to tune in or not, but I told them about the podcast. So see what happens.
That's awesome. We'll take all the viewers.
Yeah. But with that being said, I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. It was a great show. It's always great when you guys come out and hang out with us and share the show out, get as many people in here to watch it as we can. The more eyes we can get on it, the better chances of getting people found and brought home. But with that being said, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight. It's always great to get these cases out there and try to get some fresh eyes on it, get some fresh answers. I always say, if these flyers could reach the right ears, the right heart, to do the right thing, we can accomplish a lot. So I pray that they do reach those people and somebody will do the right thing and step up and make the phone calls that need to be made. Until we see each other again next Thursday, everybody stay healthy, stay safe. God bless. Amen.
Well,
I don't think it, I thought it, that's different. I said what I said and I meant it, or lamented. Words given weight without thought, and a person the way that I talk, and the way that I ought to be able to pause and to say that the fault can be placed on my arm, to this playful assault, to disgrace in this arm. Pray for the day they could wait for the calm. You can't control the storm, only weather it, whether it's 5 weeks and 5 days of rain sideways, or scorched earth, search for death or water, left with all the thorns, with the petals gone, settle on the breath of autumn. If the ground fits, wear it, the crown fits.